To my lovely sisters out there, please stop this senseless promotion, this rhetoric, this propaganda that you are equal to, if not superior to us men. Because it's downright embarrassing. The more you all speak, the more you affirm that all of that is a lie, that you actually do need us more than you ever want to admit, and that you're not as independent as you claim to be. Like this one right here.
When I say home ownership will make you lose your mind, I am being so serious.
And ladies, that only depends on the nature of the problem. Because in many cases, there are a lot of simple things that you really could fix if you weren't lazy and if you truly were resourceful.
I'm currently sitting in my house as it's raining and my entire roof is leaking.
Your entire roof? Not like a couple portions or maybe one spot, but your entire roof? Something must have happened.
In the last 6 months, 2 trees have fallen on my house.
Yeah, there we go. But wait a minute. You say 2 trees within 6 months. So that means after the first tree fell, you took no preventative action. That means you had no situational awareness, no basic problem solving skill. You saw the one tree hit your house because it was too close or too tall, and then you just let the same thing happen to the other tree.
2 trees. The first tree fell during a storm in February. Insurance came, tried to help me figure it out, gave me a quote for how much I should be getting back. Because I live in a rural area, I can't find a contractor who's reliable, so I put off getting the roof fixed.
Not to throw shade, but if this was a man, if the man didn't know shit about a house, didn't know shit about what to do with a house, in lieu of not having access to qualified contractors, more than likely he wouldn't have bought a house out in the middle of fucking nowhere. In addition, if that was his situation, if he were to get a place out in the middle of nowhere, more than likely he would try to fix some stuff himself. So in this instance, where a tree has hit the house and there's significant damage to the roof, that man would have cut down the rest of the tree, gotten up on the roof, replaced the shingles that need to be replaced, and then take a inventory of the rest of the yard to make sure that the same shit couldn't happen again, and then cut down any other trees like the first tree. You didn't do that.
4 months later, a second tree crashed into my house.
Well, of course it did. It was probably the same distance from the house as the other tree was, and you did nothing to prevent it.
And now, a month later, I'm still waiting on insurance to tell me how much they're going to give me to fix it.
In the meantime, I'm surprised you haven't thought of it, seeing as you're part of the demographic that always claims to be the most highly educated in the country. But why didn't you go to like Harbor Freight or one of those hardware stores that sells tarps and put a tarp over your roof so at the very least you can keep out some of the leakage?
Which doesn't really help because I'm still having the issue of not being able to find a reliable contractor.
Well, yeah, that's the cost of being out in the middle of nowhere. To get somebody truly reputable, yeah, you're going to have to pay a pretty damn penny. Unless, of course, you get one of these shade tree companies. And sure, they may be less reputable, but sometimes that's the cost of getting something done.
And now I'm sitting here watching my entire house fall apart and water coming through every crevice of my house because there are more holes in my roof than a piece of Swiss cheese.
Well, yeah, that's what happens when there's a clear and present problem. And instead of directly addressing it in some form or fashion. You're just sitting there watching the shit.
And they say home ownership is the dream.
Meanwhile, you've become your own nightmare by either being too useless, non-resourceful, non-creative, lazy, or just whatever, to even try to come up with some type of solution, even in the short term, to keep some of the rainwater out of your home. Good luck and Godspeed.